Hey Z-listers, most of us have heard of the A-list historical event, the Charge of the Light Brigade. Cannons to the left of them, cannons to the right of them, rode the 600. For those of you who don't know, it was during the Crimean War. Now the Crimean War was sponsored by knitwear, so it was Lord Cardigan at the Battle of Balaclava, got a communications mix-up, thought he had to attack some cannons, and well, the cannons won. But history is full of these historical mix-ups. Some of my favourites revolve around one man, and like all good British officers, he is all neck and moustache.
Buller became commander of the Natal field force in 1899.
He trained his men at Aldershot. I say trained. He forbids them to dig trenches for fear of damaging the countryside, nor were they allowed to get their uniforms dirty, and the manoeuvres could only take place between 9 and 5, so they would not interfere with the officers' social arrangements. The first week in what was to become South Africa, Buller oversaw some humiliating defeats. He was fighting the Boers, Dutch and European settlers who'd been in South Africa long before the British and didn't like abiding to our rules and paying us taxes and things like that. So during the first Boer War had travelled north. Now, we were fine with that until we realised that they had settled over some really scrummy territory. I mean, it had lots of gold, it had lots of diamonds, and you know, we Brits, we love our bling. And Queen Victoria needs some new jewellery, so go Buller, go get it back for us. Thanks, love.
Buller sends William Gateacre to capture a railway junction at night with a surprise attack. In the rush to get underway, they forget to take a map. Dawn breaks and the British discover they're at the base of a steep cliff, and on top of the cliff are the Boers, having a coffee. Instead of getting the hell out, Gateacre attacks, straight up the rock face into a hail of bullets. Quickly, he retreats, leaving behind 696 men still clinging to the rock face.
What I adore about the Boer War is how it's this sort of history soup. You've got British-run concentration camps, you've got trenches, you've even got Winston Churchill. It's also happening at a time where warfare is changing. For centuries, warfare has been standing in a field and at the signal, everybody fight. Not anymore. Now it's much more like the modern wars in Afghanistan. It's small pockets of men going after different territories and defending each other. It's much more exciting. And Buller is not prepared for it. He expects, if the enemy is losing, to just stand there and be shot down by British guns. And the Boers, well, they don't agree with that at all.
The Boers are amazing at guerrilla warfare, often attacking from hilly outcrops. Buller bombards a hill, assuming the Boers are on the top, but General de la Rey put his men in trenches at the bottom. Assuming he must have scared them off, Buller orders Muthen to take the hill. To do that, they walk across open ground. It was only thanks to some Boer troops being too trigger-happy, revealing their positions slightly too soon, that some Brits survive. Under a storm of bullets, all the British can do is lie down. Some fall asleep from thirst and exhaustion. In the end, the Brits lose 900 men.
I think we can agree, Buller's most persistent mistake seems to be keeping on generals who are useless. I mean, he could sack them, but he doesn't. The next one is one of my favourites. From Hell fans, you will recognise him, because before he became a general, he was Commissioner of Police in London. So that's right, Buller keeps on a man who, before getting to the war, had failed to catch Jack the Ripper.
One of the most infamous men that Buller relied on was Sir Charles Warren. Warren has a habit of taking baths mid-battle. He spends 26 hours supervising getting his baggage across a river. During this time, the Boers on the opposite bank grow from 600 to 6,000 men. Yet Buller still thinks Warren is just the chap to take a strategic hill, Spion Kop. In the thick fog, Warren sets off. When Warren's men reach the summit, they start to dig in. Only they'd forgotten sandbags, and their trenches aren't the right height to withstand enemy fire. More significantly, once the fog clears, they realise they aren't at the top after all. The Boers surround them on 3 sides. When war correspondent Winston Churchill told Buller that his men are trapped, Buller orders Winston's arrest. Buller blames Warren for the whole mess-up, saying that Warren's a complete duffer and lost me a good chance.
How do you know? How do you know that Buller said that he was a duffer. How do you know? That sounds like hearsay evidence. Well, no, it isn't actually. We've got some very good evidence, Mr. Skeptic, and enjoy this, because Buller was a sweetheart, would write home to his wife very regularly, and so we have all his personal opinions that he shared with her, which is really cute and lovely. He was actually, there's aspects of him which were really nice. During the Zulu War, he won the Victoria Cross for rescuing some soldiers, and when he came home, he was a hero to the people, not so much to the military. They chucked him out, but that was largely down to the fact that Robert set him up, and he did the speech to defend himself and might have given away some military secrets. But never mind, you can't win them all. If you want to go and see Buller, head down to Exeter, have a cream tea, and go find his statue, which, if you look on Flickr, largely seems to have a traffic cone on its head every single week. But you know, I see that as dedication from the British people to say what a brilliant man he was, because nothing says you're wonderful like a traffic cone on your head. It's a British tradition of greatness. Anyway, thanks for watching the Z-List Dead List. Do subscribe to the channel if you want to see more when they come up. Also, come see us live. We're doing a few shows in the new year and over Christmas at Skeptics in the Pub. So have a look on the zlistdeadlist.com, or the Z-List Dead List if you're American, but never mind. Can't win them all, eh? Hello, the colonies.